Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mrs. Taylor, and there was just enough confusion on Chapter 5.1, those problems 9, 10, and 11, that I decided that we would do a real quick video. As I hinted to my Block 1 class, I didn't even hint, I just said it outright. There will be a problem like this on the quiz. So I want to make certain that there's no confusion. You have several chances of seeing this kind of problem worked. So here we go. The directions are: write an equation in point-slope form for the perpendicular bisector of the segment with the given endpoints. Perpendicular bisector. A perpendicular bisector will be at the midpoint of this segment MN, and it will be perpendicular to the segment MN. So I need to find the slope of MN, and I need to find the slope of the line that's perpendicular to that, and I need to find the midpoint of MN. And then from there, I'll plug that into point slope form. So let's write down some things that we need to know. I need to know the slope equation, which, let's get prettier ink than that. The slope equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And when I find the slope of that, I need to find the perpendicular. So when I find this slope, I'm going to flip and negate. I'm going to find the opposite reciprocal of that slope, and that will give me the slope perpendicular. I need to find the midpoint, so let's write down the midpoint formula. The midpoint happens at the average of the x values and the average of the y values. So the midpoint happens at x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And then the last thing that this question talks about, well, actually it's the first thing, it says write an equation in point-slope form. So point-slope form, as a reminder, is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. So that's all the information that I need for this particular problem. So I'm going to come over here, and you know I like to label my points. So I'm going to say x1, y1, x2, y2. So my slope of segment MN is y2 minus y1, negative 2 minus 4, over x2 minus x1. So 1 minus a negative 5 becomes 1 plus 5. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. 1 plus 5 is positive 6. So my slope of segment MN is negative 1. But I'm not interested in that slope as much as I am the slope of the line that's perpendicular to that. So over on the right-hand side, I said in order to find the slope of the line perpendicular, I would flip and negate. So this isn't a fraction. Let's make it a fraction. So I'm going to say that the slope of MN is negative 1 over 1. So if I were to flip that, I would end up with 1 over negative 1. And then I would change the sign of this. So instead of having negative 1, I would have positive 1. So my slope of the line perpendicular is 1. I don't need all of this stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and erase it. And I'm going to set this aside. We'll need it here in a minute. The next thing I need to do is find the midpoint. The midpoint of MN happens at negative 5 plus 1 divided by 2, comma, the 4 or the y value, so 4 plus y2, which is negative 2, so 4 minus 2 divided by 2. My midpoint happens at negative 4 over 2, comma, 2 over 2. So my midpoint happens at negative 2, comma, 1. I'm going to set that aside and erase all of this. If I'm going too fast, don't forget you have the option to pause and replay. I'm going to take what I know and plug it down here into my slope-intercept form. So y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. I'm going to plug in what I know, and my midpoint happens at negative 2, comma 1. 1 is my y1 value. In fact, let's come over here and label this x1, y1, and I'm going to get rid of this jump. I'm going to confuse myself. So y minus y1 is y minus 1 equals, my slope is 1, and x minus x1, I have x minus a negative 2, which becomes x plus 2. And that is my final answer for number 9. I don't need to do anything else. I like to have the one written outside of the parentheses. Normally, we would make that go away, but I kind of like it there because it tells me what my slope is. So that is everything you need to do for problem number 9. For extra practice, let's do number 10. This was part of the homework, and I want to make certain that you know how to do this. So the very first thing is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to label my points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and I'm going to start by finding my slope of the segment for UV. So my slope of segment UV is going to be 0 minus a negative 6 is 0 plus 6. X2 minus x1 is 4 minus 2. My slope is 6 over 2, so my slope of UV is 3. But I'm not interested in the slope of UV. I'm interested in the slope that's perpendicular to that. So I'm going to take this, make it a fraction. I'm going to flip that fraction and negate it. So my slope of the perpendicular is negative 1/3. All right. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm not quite ready for it, but I'm going to tuck it over there. I need to find the midpoint. My midpoint is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So my midpoint happens at 2 plus 4 divided by 2, comma, negative 6 plus 0 divided by 2. 2 plus 4 is 6 divided by 2. Negative 6 plus 0 is negative 6. Let's simplify that. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So my midpoint is at 3, comma, negative 3. See, I'm going to put that over here and bring you over here. And I'm going to erase all of this. I'm even going to erase my x1, y1. Because I need to tuck all that into my point slope intercept. And I'm going to label my point slope form is this. I'm going to plug in what I have. So I have y minus y1, which is negative 3. Y minus a negative 3 becomes y plus 3 equals m. I'm going to plug in negative 1/3 times the quantity of x minus x1 is positive 3. So there is my final answer for number 10. Y plus 3 equals negative 1/3 times the quantity of x minus 3. All right, let's get rid of all of this stuff. Let's do number 11. It might be a great idea for you to take a moment and pause the video and attempt this one on your own. I mean, if it's going to be on a quiz, you want to make certain really understand how to do it, right? I'm going to take all my formulas and put them on that side. I'm going to come label x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to find the slope of segment JK. My slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So negative 1 minus 5 over 1 minus a negative 7 becomes x, or 1 plus 7. Negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6. 1 plus 7 is 8. So my slope of JK is negative 3/4. Once again, I'm not interested in the slope of JK. I need the slope perpendicular to JK. So I am going to flip that fraction and make it 4 over 3, and I'm going to change the sign. Since the slope of JK is negative, the slope of the perpendicular will be positive 4 over 3. I'm going to do all of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and erase it. Hold on to this over here. I need to calculate what the midpoint is. So using the same x1, y1, my midpoint is negative 7 plus 1 divided by 2, and 5 minus 1 divided by 2, so 6 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2. So my midpoint is 3, 2. I'm going to erase that x1, y1, and I am going to relabel this x1 and y1. My point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. Let's plug in what we know. Y minus 2, my y1 is 2. My slope is 4/3. X minus x1 is x minus 3. My final answer for number 11 is y minus 2 equals 4/3 times the quantity of x minus 3. If you're still having problems with this, please come see me or Mr. Lozar during Lion Time, or visit an academic coach during the ELB Lion Time, or even after school. We're always here to help you. We want to see you succeed. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.